the threat landscape, we will be discussing on several areas. I have with me Oluwatosin Adubiaro, who is the cybersecurity evangelist for Reliance Info Systems. He's going to talk a whole lot about this threat landscape, and I would like us to throw in our questions at this point in time, and later on during the session, we'll have our experts answer and give you different levels and different measures at which you can tackle or address your issues. Over to you, Oluwatosin Adubiaro.
Yeah, thank you very much, Oluwafemi. Let's take a look at the threat landscape today. So, since the spread of the COVID-19 global pandemic around the globe, there has been a lot of fear, panic out there. We see people trying to get the latest information on COVID-19, countries with cases, records of death cases, and informations like vaccine for COVID-19. And the panic on its own has provided opportunities for attackers to exploit unsuspecting victims. We have social engineering at its peak, where we have people in emotional states who still fall prey for this kind of attacks. Now, the contribution of the increase in the cybersecurity threat landscape has come with the fact that there is now dependency on digital infrastructure. Like people rely on technology to carry out their work activities. People rely on collaboration and communication tools to do their daily work. The work from home has never been a practice for many organizations, and the level of controls you have in your organization on premises, you can't compare it to where you have remote workers working. That has contributed to the landscape. We have people that now rely on online connectivity and infrastructure, of course. We still have individuals that aren't tech savvy who need to adapt to the use of technology in carrying out their daily lives. We have everyone consuming internet services, which on the long run could pose a risk. And all these has contributed to the increase in the cybersecurity threat landscape. Now, if you look at the threat landscape, it hasn't changed much. It hasn't changed at all. The threats we see today has always been in existence for years and still in trends as of now. The threat we see today have only just adapted to seasons. For instance, this period we are dealing with crisis of COVID-19. You will have the same phishing emails all around, carrying the theme of COVID-19. The subject of the emails are COVID-19. Uh, if you look at threats, phishing takes a let's take a look at phishing, for example. Phishing is a big part of email security, and attackers behind phishing emails are quick and they take advantage of an issue or opportunity. If you look at this page, you can see that this is a phishing email um, from the World Health Organization targeted at email at people, and there are a lot of these phishing emails out there, like the emails telling you to download safety measures. They have download links embedded in them, as seen in the image there. There were messages and emails circulating recently about one of the top financial organizations where they said you can the financial organizations are giving out funds for those that have accounts with them. Um, in the right sense, a financial organization won't even require you to fill a form over the internet of specific details like your financial data. This is an opportunity for cyber criminals to take advantage of this. You also see in phishing emails with keywords like your COVID-19 test has arrived. Of course, people are aware that local governments are establishing testing centers for people to go in and take the COVID-19 test. So cyber attackers have seen this as an opportunity. Ransomware attacks hasn't gone on vacation. Earlier this week, it was reported, last week, it was reported that there are some hospitals in the US and Europe that were getting attacked by ransomware. And imagine that kind of situation where hospitals are meant to be dealing with patients having the COVID-19 and trying to ensure the health status of patients. But they now have to start focusing on how to deal with cyber attacks, which is it really shows that the cyber criminals don't even have mercy on organizations. It's not just only the hospital, financial organizations are affected, manufacturing organizations are affected, transportation organizations are affected. It's not even about large businesses, small businesses are also affected. And if you look at the ransomware that we are having now, it has really evolved. Initially, when your system is infected with ransomware, what happens is that your files get encrypted and you get a note on your system saying that, okay, you need to pay a ransom. But now the cyber attackers have seen that organizations have smartened up. They've invested a lot in technology like backup systems to replicate their infrastructure and their data to the cloud or to an off-premise location. And saying that they know that they are not really cashing out from this mess. Where when there's a situation whereby an organization gets it, you can easily recover from a backup without paying a ransom. So what the cyber attackers did now is to introduce what they call nuclear ransomware, that in whichever means the organization gets affected negatively. So what they just do is they don't only just encrypt your file and request for ransom. Now they've gone further to steal sensitive files, and those files will contain personal identity information, information about customer trade secrets and all that. So in a situation whereby an organization is not willing to negotiate for the ransom, what happens is that they publish that information online, and in which in return it would have negative impact on the organization. Like, think about countries whereby there are privacy laws in place, like the NDPR law, Nigeria Data Protection Law, which companies have to announce that they are breached, and there are fines that comes with that. Like NDPR, there's a percentage of your revenue you're meant to remit if your company is found to be breached. So we need to be careful with all this kind of attack and be aware of it, and ensure there's adequate protection of it. There are a lot of URLs also with COVID team out there. Some are used to host malicious domains. Some of these URLs are used in spreading misinformation, and some even requires you to even register to view the news, and in turn collects personal or sensitive information. You can see examples of all those URLs: coronaemergency.com, um, combat combatcorona.com. So there are a lot of all those URLs out there. So you should be in lookout for all these fake URLs. Here's another example, the malicious website. So this in particular is one of the very, very first cyber attacks related to COVID-19, and it's regarding COVID-19 map. So the John Hopkins University provided one of the very first maps in which you can use to see the statistics to the world of active cases of COVID-19. And since the popularity of that web application, the cyber criminals took advantage of it, and they made fake versions of the website, masqueraded the domain, and made it look like what it used to be as the original version. And they now require you to download a plugin, and in which once you install the plugin in your system, the plugin will take over your system, and in turn an attacker can gain remote access to your system. So these are the things we need to be watchful about. So we can really see in summary that there's nothing particularly new about the trend landscape today. We only can just have the trend as it is. Most of the phishing attacks you see carrying COVID-19, most of the subject emails you see, and awareness is all about COVID-19. So we need to be careful and watch out for all these kind of threats. And if you have any questions, you can also drop it in the chat box as we go further. Over to you, Femi.